For this project, my research primarily focuses on the trees and thinking about tree health, and then also on the soil. So for this project, we're looking at slow water practices and different watering techniques to help with tree establishment. So that's the first year or two of their planting. It takes a little while for these little ones to get established, and so my research primarily focuses on making sure that we can measure different metrics and different visual cues of the plant to make sure that it's doing well. Yes. So this project primarily looks at slow water practices, right? So we have 5 treatments. We're looking at 5 different ways we can apply water to the soil and to the plants. We have 4 species. We have a desert willow, an ironwood, a canyon hackberry, and a live oak. And these 4 species are commonly used throughout the state of Arizona for urban systems. So they're planted in our urban landscape, and you may have seen them in your neighborhood. And so they're really, really great species, and thinking about cooling, thinking about beautifying areas. And we want to know, with watering, can we reduce the water that we're applying to these trees? And can we use different practices and different technologies to reduce that water? We use a couple different hydrogels that are a soil amendment, and they get buried with the root ball of the tree. We also look at organic mulch, which is a common ground cover to help keep the moisture in the soil. We also dig a typical basin, and we can think about it as a larger version of a tree well around the tree to keep that moisture and that water that we're applying closer to that root ball system instead of allowing it to flow off. But then we contrast this with commonly used practices like drip irrigation so that we can see whether or not these different technologies and techniques change the growth of the trees or the health of the trees. So these trees, we have these 6 by 6 foot areas that are allowing for moisture to be captured and that water to be redirected towards the tree. We hope to actually mimic rainwater harvesting basins, and so when we dig up some trees for some other analyses, we will use that space to create a larger, roughly maybe 15 by 15. Some of those details aren't fully filled out, but thinking about what the tree could use in a typical landscape. So it'd be adjacent to that basin, but allowed for water to fill up that area. And then we can remove irrigation completely from the tree and it be solely reliant on rainwater harvesting. With all of the initiatives to plant trees throughout the state, there's a lot of really great benefits and co-benefits from tree plantings. That water is one of the main concerns. And so one of the big takeaways from this project is that we've had really beautiful success in the trees that we have planted. Their growth has been immense, and we've reduced the amount of water that we apply to all of the trees. So while we did look at these different treatments, we don't see a huge effect of the treatment currently, but we are seeing great success in just cutting the water overall. So some of the next steps that we will be doing over this winter is digging up some of the trees to look at their root systems. So it's really difficult to understand the root systems of these trees, especially as they get larger and larger. But with the different treatments that we apply, we want to know, are we promoting different root growth than what we would expect? So are we going to see some more surface roots if that water is only at the surface? Or are we going to promote some of those deeper rooting depending on the type of method that we're using? So we're hoping to be able to tease apart some of that and look at the root system.